Good morning, everyone. This morning, we're going to be diving into whether we are becoming our own best friend, or, and there's an approach to this when we're talking with ourselves, when we're trying to understand ourselves, or just getting good advice, the best friend approach, or are we being our own worst enemy? Yes, it turns out that ourselves, we can be the blockade. Our mindset can be the blockade, and how we treat ourselves and how we talk to ourselves is very important. There's a huge difference between the two, but it just takes a couple questions, a couple talking points that we can dive into this morning to hopefully help with that. Enjoy the morning show, folks. Let's be our own best friend and not our own worst enemy. Cheers. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Terry Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to make you the absolute best person you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. You know the drill this morning. We're getting right into it. This is episode number 478. It's your coach. We're going all the way to 1,000 on these fun talking points. So this this idea of being our own best friend, this idea of being our own worst enemy, I think is actually pretty common. When I think who beats you up more than anybody else in this world, and I think we're really starting to gain awareness of, like, man, a lot of my own internal chatter, you may have heard of the terms internal dialogue, are the things that make me the most upset. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning and jumping on. So, we're going to go over some talking points. We're going to break down the best friend and the worst enemy and kind of what that looks like, just so really, as you're going through your day to day, maybe you're having a cup of coffee and you're interacting with some coworkers, you're trying to get some clients for your business, or continue to remember, whose side are we really on? Are we on the best friend side, or are we on the worst enemy side? And I think just this level of awareness, just this little bit of acknowledgement, I think can go a really long way. So let's start with being our own best friend. We'll start with the good stuff. So good morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in this morning. So under the best friend approach, what are some hot words that we maybe help us recognize what's really going on? So this would be under the idea of like self-compassion. If you were upset about something and your best friend called you on the phone and you explained the situation, what would they say? They would say, have a little self-compassion. They'd also say self-care. I think it's easy when things start to get really, really fast and really chaotic. We all have a lot of responsibilities. We have goals, we have ambitions. I mean, just between now that I'm working and my two businesses are growing, and I don't even have kids yet. So and I have a hard time making time to work out and to cook good food and to do it's hard to be healthy and rich and do all of these things and to build. It's worth doing. I think we can agree on that, but that doesn't make it easy. So the self-care, I think, when we are on point with our self-care routines, when we're taking the cold showers, when we're getting the workouts in, when we're meditating, when we're journaling, when we're just working on our craft, really more than anything, that when I'm actually doing the deep work, I'm not being distracted by the smartphones and all this other bullshit, and I'm just in the deep work of doing what it is I know I need. I know you know what you got to be doing today. And when we actually do this and follow the self-care routine, the self-care routines, I know you know what I'm talking about, whatever that looks like for us, because everyone's self-care is different. When we are doing that, it is a lot easier to really nail this best friend approach of, Tanner, yeah, that sale didn't work out, but you took a cold shower this morning, you got up early, you've been reading some good books. I just got to go see a bunch of my best friends, and I've just been having a good time. It's like these aren't even the same world, the same dimension. It's crazy how we can go back and forth. But remember, people are crazy. People are crazy, and we're going to do it again. But how long, the duration, going on to the next one. I would say positive self-talk. So self-talk, we just want this to be positive. What are the foods? And this is kind of a funny joke that I always like to throw around. So I like to think of self-talk as on the worst enemy side, an example, shit sandwiches. Are you eating a shit sandwich? Like what are you feeding your brain? Like what are you telling yourself? What are you watching? What are you consuming? Because we are the things that we eat. We are the things that we consume. We are the things that we watch. We want to be able to pay attention to this self-talk. The chatter is controlled by what's coming in. And lastly, just like boundaries. Gotta love some boundaries. Sometimes we need some boundaries. Maybe you just need 10 minutes away from that one person. Maybe you just need an afternoon. Maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to stop and read a book. Maybe you need to just take a break. Maybe we need to just set some boundaries around. But these are some things I believe that when we work on these, it can really help with us taking the best friend approach. Because again, always asking that question of what would my best friend say? What would my best friend say? Okay. So we want to nail that down for the best friend side. Now we're on to we're being our own worst enemy. So this is, you can think of words like worst enemy is when you're criticizing. Are you being your own worst critic? That's pretty much guaranteed. There's a healthy balance with this. Yes, we need feedback. Yes, we need to understand how we can improve ourselves. We need some type of game plan, but humans always tend to overdo it on this one. And criticizing is one that absolutely cripples our mindset, our energy. If you criticize the crap out of yourself all day long, this isn't good enough. I'm not doing this good enough. I could have been doing this better. Then yes, we're going to feel like shit. Okay, first one, criticizing. Watch out for that. Sabotage. 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 I spelled that wrong. Sabotage. Come on, Tanner. All right. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. So what I mean by self-sabotage is maybe thinking of it as, in my notes, kind of like the opposite of self-care. So if you stay up really late, are you going to be tired? Yes. If you don't drink a lot of water, are you going to be tired? Yes. And what happens is I do this all the time. So don't feel bad about this. This is why we're raising awareness and trying to get better. I do this stuff all the time. I won't drink water. I'll stay up really late. I'll party with my friends. And then the next morning I'll be like, why do I feel so bad? Why? It's because I'm not doing good enough. It's because I'm not doing this. And then round and round we go in the craziness of the human mind to the next thing. And self-sabotaging is one of the ways that we become our own worst enemy, I believe. This one's brutal because it happens all the time. And I'm going to do it again. Like I went out with, and I don't really drink much anymore. It just doesn't really do it for me. But every now and again, I'll meet up with a lot of my, some old friends, still a lot of my best friends, and we go do something special, something cool. Like we were in Chicago for St. Patrick's Day, and Tanner drank too much alcohol, and the next morning I felt absolutely awful. And I was having some negative chatter like, you said you were going to get this done on Sunday. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do that, and I didn't get it done. So I think that's how we sabotage ourselves, and it's usually in the form of like some type of self-care. Because when you're not feeling good, have you ever felt bad and been in a good mood? Probably not. It's pretty much impossible. Trust me, I've tried. Okay. So the last one I just on here, this just leads to self-talk. Self-talk makes the list twice because that internal chatter is one of the craziest things of the mind. So self-talk can either be negative over here or self-talk can be positive. I think positive self-talk, it gets a bad rap, or this is how I always interpret it. I'm like, okay, self-talk, I think I can. I think I can. The little engine that could. It doesn't need to sound like that versus, okay, really look at what your situation's going on. I'm walking, I'm moving, my body's strong, I'm healthy, I have good relationships, I'm getting things going. If you just maybe look, maybe something that helps with self-talk, there's a huge difference. We've talked about on this show, there's this idea of the gap and the gain. This shout out to Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan, their book. It's very simple, very straightforward model. And it's really good for just overall good, healthy internal dialogue, self-talk, this kind of stuff. So there is a run out of room. So we can think of this like diaphragm right here. So this is where, and say you're right in the middle. And so this is all the progress that you've made. This first part, this is all the progress that you made. And then this is the second half. This is the stuff that you want and you don't have yet. When you think too much in this, the latter, when you think too much and about the stuff that you don't have, I don't have enough money for retirement. I don't have enough houses. I don't have enough relationships. I don't have enough stuff to do. I haven't been there yet. I haven't been there. And you think of all the gap. That is the gap. And in the gap comes a lot of negative self-talk. And we want to be careful of that because we know negative self-talk, if I could talk this morning, leads us to us being our own worst enemy. Got to watch out for that. Watch out for that worst enemy. So negative self-talk is usually when we're in the gain and we don't appreciate the things that we do have. I'm not saying you got to sit in a circle and sing Kumbaya and say, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful all the time. That's not being human or realistic versus just really looking at what's going on. What do you have? Did you drive to work today? Sick. That's a lot faster than walking, baby. Or maybe you can look at, wow, I got a chance to talk to my mom on the phone yesterday. Wow, I got a chance to talk to my brother on the phone. Wow, this last weekend, I got to really see my friends and have something. This morning, I got to jump on here live. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. And I got some people to listen to me on something that I really care a lot about. I care a lot about this shit. And I want you to be a better person. I want you to push me to be a better person too. So this is the gain. The gain is the reality of the situation, of the things that we have accomplished, that we have done, that we are proud of. What are you proud of? What are your top accomplishments? These are just things that we can stir up to lead us back into the best friend dialogue. And that's how we want to ramp up this morning's show. This is a short one. We're rocking and rolling, but I'm coming fast and dangerous these last couple episodes. So look out. But let's do a little recap on the best friend approach. I need another piece of chalk real quick. How's everyone doing this morning? Feeling good? Feeling great? Getting your coffee, maybe just getting going with the work day. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or maybe you can share this video on any of our social platforms with somebody who is having a hard time with balancing between the best friend and the worst enemy, what's going on in our internal dialogue. So we want to be on the best friend side. And again, to be our own best friend, we start with this question of what would my best friend say? What would my best friend say about this? Next time we get a little riled up. And remember that being your own best friend includes having some compassion for yourselves. What happened to letting people off the hook? What happened? It's okay to mess up. We say failure is okay, but every time we personally fail, we just absolutely run ourselves into the dirt. That makes no sense. Okay, first, compassion. Then self-care, just doing our self-care routines. You know what this looks like. Working out, moving our bodies, eating healthier, drinking water, these types of things, absolutely necessary. Positive self-talk, living in the gain that we talked about over here, living in the gain. Setting boundaries. Unless you want to, I personally don't want to work like Elon Musk or some of these people out here who are just from the second they wake up to the second they black out, they're working. That's not the work. That's not the life I want to live. So I'm setting some boundaries between work and people and all this stuff. And then lastly, that comes back to my question. What would my best friend say? Cheers. Because when we don't follow this framework, I believe it's very easy to keep falling into the trap of being your own worst enemy. Will you be your own worst enemy today, or are you going to be your best friend? That'll be for us to decide, because humans have what? This amazing, amazing ability that is only unique to the human race, the power of choice. The power of choice. Choice is plaguing us, but it's given us life. What a concept, because we have so many choices in 2024. What do you want to do for your career? You can do anything. You can do whatever you want. It don't matter what you look like, how you're set up and all this. You can pretty much do whatever you want here in America, thankfully. So shout out to America. I absolutely love you. But man, the power of choice. And I choose to be my own best friend. I choose compassion. I choose self-care. I choose just setting healthy boundaries because I'm a human. Is it going to come up? Is the worst enemy going to come back in my head, creep and have a little bit of chatter? Yes, it's going to. But we don't question frequency. We question duration. We don't question frequency. We question the duration. How long are you going to be mad, bro? 1 minute, 5 minutes, a year, 10 years? Up to us, because the power of choice. Beautiful. So I'm choosing to be my own best friend today. I'm really working on this. I'm far from perfect. I know you're far from perfect, but that's what makes us human. That's what makes this stuff fun. So cheers to that. Let's be our own best friends. Again, if you really enjoyed this content, please like it, share it with somebody, and hopefully they can benefit from it as well. But as always, this was episode 478 this morning. It was a fun one, and I'll be back here bright and early with another one, 479 tomorrow, Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can always watch our old episodes on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. All the past live streams will be on there. If you want to learn just personal development tips, tricks, or social media ideas, I'm a social media coach. I help people create authentic and consistent content. So you can always reach out to me on any of the social media platforms. Would love to chat or get to know you. Otherwise, you guys just have an awesome day. If you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's make it a great day. Cheers to personal development and taking action. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Peace out, guys. I'm done. Peace.